Okay, so thanks to the good people at Signature, I checked out The Girl in the Pool. This is the second feature from Dakota Gorman, and I believe the first thing from writer Jackson Reid Williams. The film is produced by German Michael Torres, Larry Greenberg, R.J. Collins, and Eric Brenner. It's executive produced by Jonathan Gorman, Tyler Gould, Matthew Helderman, Barry Meyerowitz, Nicole Rio, Jeff Sackman, Ryan Santwire, and Luke Taylor. It's associate produced by Jackson Reid Williams, and co-produced by Stuart Davis and Ahmad Ela. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Adam Bozage took care of the music. Alonzo Horns is on cinematography. Rob Bonds edits the piece, whilst Cynthia Hoffman took care of all the casting. All right, Julian Brown is production design. Art direction is Adam Nungester. Costume design is Lindsay Zia. Hair and makeup, we've got Kim Consola, Roxanne McDaniel, Samantha Tanzi, and Jessica Torres. Our cast. Okie dokie. Right, so Thomas is played by Freddie Prinze Jr. His wife, Kirsten, is played by Monica Potter. Their kids, right, there's Rose, played by Brielle Barbusca. And there's Alex, played by Tyler Lawrence Gray. Neither look like either parent. Kirsten's dad, William, is played by Kevin Pollock. Right? We then have got Abe, the kid next door, played by Dionysus Basco. There's Colin, played by Ricky Eugene Brown. No, sorry, Abe isn't the kid next door. Aidan is the kid next door. And Aidan is played by Micah Giovanni. We've got the mistress, Hannah, played by Gabrielle Haugh. Her husband, Kevin, played by Rishi Kota. There's Frank, played by Jack McLean. Randall, played by Jalen Moore. Pietro, played by Gidon Rio. We got the DJ, played by Seal Shy. Mike, played by Michael Ciro. Sotera Vaughan is Lily. And Jill Whelan is Susan. So the gist of the story is this. Tom is struggling to maintain his composure during his birthday celebration as he secretly concealed the body of his murdered mistress in his family's home. Paranoia grips him as he navigates through whispers and cryptic hints from those around him. As he delves deeper into the mystery, he discovers he's not the only one hiding something, leading to a tense unraveling of truths and betrayals amidst a desperate search for answers, revealing a twist that nobody could have seen coming. So yes, that is the film. Now, we do have a statement from Dakota. It reads, I think it's fascinating how Generally speaking, lies are treated as these incredibly treacherous things, which they definitely can be, but at the same time, they're completely ubiquitous acts. I don't think there's a single person on this planet who hasn't told a lie at some point. I don't care how strong your moral compass is, when our arse is on the line and we're in a panic, desperate to erase a wrongdoing or diffuse a potential catastrophe, it's tempting to hastily reach for what feels like the easiest, most logical solution, the lie, which can feel totally pragmatic at the time, but in retrospect is completely idiotic. Why the hell did I think that was a good idea? Because becomes a cliche. This social construct is essentially the fulcrum of Tom's journey in The Girl in the Pool. Obviously, the events of this film are an incredibly heightened version of that, and I can assure you none of us condone murder. But from a storytelling standpoint, I've always felt this project provides an incredibly engaging, fun, and unique exploration into the psychology of human error. Reading the earliest script versions, I could not stop laughing, in the best way, at Tom's character. He was the personified version of the gift where he's actively convincing himself that everything is fine, while the entire world burns to ash around him. But beneath the ridiculous situation he's caught in is a man who's completely lost at sea emotionally, which is hyper relatable. He's grown so accustomed to pleasing people and bottling up his discomfort for the sake of being the perfect father, husband, and human being that he's lost all ability to just be honest, even with himself. Now he's ignorantly pulled on one string that sent his life unraveling. At the start of his journey, Tom is in an adulterous relationship. Upon meeting him, we get the sense that this is a potentially life-ending taboo that can never be revealed. His wife finding out about the affair would be the worst case scenario. So of course, when Hannah is murdered, Tom's knee-jerk reaction is to continue the cover-up, setting off a highly dysfunctional chain of events that send him into a mental spiral. Things continually cascade from bad to unimaginably horrific and continue to snowball until his world implodes. In the hour and a half we spend with Tom, he has every opportunity to course correct. But because he's so desperate to preserve life as he knows it, he never does. Ironically, this is what ends up ripping his existence to shreds. Every time Tom thinks he's achieved rock bottom, the situation is exasperated and the boundaries of his anxiety-fueled paranoia are pushed even further. Which, in addition to the inherent tension, is where a lot of the moments of levity come in. Ultimately, this guy just cannot get his shit together or come to terms with the fact that he's totally fucked. Even in the end, his act to save everything still comes from a fabrication of the truth, which I love. He enters the story flawed and still leaves it flawed, but in a more redeemable way. The biggest lure for me, though, was the opportunity to blur parameters of a traditional suspense thriller movie. I will leap at any opportunity to blend genres and showcase characters that bend the rules between good and bad. The foundation of this project offered up so much room to play and bring in elements of humour, love and depth without detracting from it, living in the thriller realm. Even with the female characters, I really appreciate how Hannah and Kirsten feel like complex characters on their own. Okay, unpredictable journeys and not just one-dimensional devices to service Tom's story, which was a goal across the board. I wanted to make sure that however outlandish the plot became, our characters moved through the world in a grounded way and helped bring in some, oh my God, verisimilitude. It's a total cross of reality and surrealism, a balancing act between Tom's internal psychosis and the real world events unfolding around him. I'm really proud of what our team has created in its entirety. The Girl in the Pool is suspenseful, eerie, funny, heartfelt. It's pure mental and emotional whiplash, which is an awesome visceral experience as an audience member, because that's essentially what Tom's feeling throughout the entire film, allowing us to digest his journey with a little more empathy, to explore how our inability to be authentic can lead us into the arms of bad decision making, and also how the consequences of that dishonesty, however minute it may feel, can have a really volatile ripple effect. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's interesting as fuck, right? That's interesting as fuck. Now, I agree with Dakota. Not all lies are the same, right? Not all lies are the same. I think that's the thing with everything, right? There's degrees, right? There's the white lie. The amount of times I planned something, a great evening for my girl, right? And you have to make sure that the date is safe. So I'll send her a calendar invite and I'll say, oh, we are, going to an exhibition, but we're doing something completely different. Or I'll just be like, oh, surprise planned, meet me at this location. And then I've got something real different, real elaborate, that actually goes down. So you have to, tell a white lie to initiate the day. That's fine. Right? I don't really see anything wrong with that, because otherwise you can never pull off a surprise. Now, a lie about cheating or, oh, I didn't break that, and try and blame it on something, then you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? That's what I feel, right? So looking at the way she talks about this and being like, oh yeah, Tom at his heart is just a guy trying, he's grown accustomed to pleasing people and bottling up his discontent for the sake of being the perfect father, husband, and human. I'm like, at no point in the film do we see this. Now, this may have been in drafts of the script, this whole thing in Tom's life, right? That shows the kind of guy he wanted to be. But then, it just didn't turn out that way. But no. What we see in this film is a guy that was cheating. Right now, he's just like, he didn't want to leave his wife or his family. But, I mean, what is that meant to make us feel like, oh, what a stand-up guy? You know what I mean? He's happy to put his dick in anything, but he's not looking to leave his wife or kids. That's commendable. Like, come on, man. what are we doing? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm a little bit lost when she talks about, the film in that way. And as if, Tom, he just found himself in a bad situation. Because it sounds like he's been cheating for a good ass while. Right? He's been cheating for a good ass while. So, you know what I mean? Like, you don't feel bad for Tom. Also, when she talks about the female characters having dimensions, yeah, I don't see that. Like, Hannah is paper thin. That character is paper. I mean, we see her, like, through flashbacks and stuff, we see her do some things in the house. Do some things in the house that are, well, they would lead to questions, right? But also, it's what you would expect. You know what I mean? It's nothing new. It's nothing like, oh, shit, that's interesting. It's just like, yeah, obviously. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there is no depth to Hannah. Kirsten, I mean, not really either, right? She gets to say a bit more. You know, we find out some things about her, but there's not a lot going on with there's not really a lot going on with anyone else, right? The kid, one dimension, just everyone is just a bit, there's not a lot there. You know, we get, William has the talk with him, and it's a bit of a weird one because it's like we have this moment with William and Tom where it's a bit of a 180 from everything that's gone down earlier in the film, which is a little bit baffling, you know? But that's the biggest thing that we get with William. You know, so there isn't the depth that I would say that Dakota wants there to be. Now, look, I get it. You're making a project and obviously, yeah, you want it to be great. You want it to be good. And I think when you're thick in the midst of something, there is a tendency to see the thing that you want there to be there rather than what's actually there. You know what I mean? The amount of times I've written things and you're like, oh, that's great. And you give it to someone and like, yo, there's a spelling mistake. And then you look at it and you're like, there's not. And they have to be like, look. And you're like, oh yeah. Huh. That's weird. I did not see that. You know what I mean? So, hey, she may not even recognize it. And the other thing is, everyone else might think I'm wrong. But the film, it felt like it wanted to be way too clever. Way too clever. Because the incident that happened at the start, right? This whole cover-up, when you think about the time that Tom has, there is absolutely no way you could get the pool and the side, everything looking like nothing's gone down. There's no way, right? So it's just a bit odd. It's a bit odd, right? You have these things like the phone and everything else, which I think in this day and age, everyone knows, like, phones get tracked, right? There's how many times have people seen episodes of like any police procedural series or even film where they've talked about, oh, we use cell towers to ping and see where the phone was and blah, blah, blah. And that's how we found the first. Most people probably have, not in depth, but an understanding of, fuck, okay. And it'd be like, well, we should at least turn the phone off. Like, at least. You know what I mean? So there's phone things, like tracking people, just all of these things. Just the drone situation. Right? Because we have Tom asking loads of people questions. And you're just like, listen, if anyone had the answer to the questions, what the answer that Tom's looking for, right? We wouldn't be where we were. You know what I mean? We wouldn't be where we were. As if someone's trying to blackmail, that would get instigated at the start, right? No one's going to come up to you mid, day event and be like, I know everything, so this is how we're going to play it. No, it doesn't make any, because you could have got rid of evidence. You could have, you know what I mean? So someone would be hitting you up with that shit from the giddy up. You know what I mean? So, and the way Tom is acting is so bait, right? It's so bait that, you know what I mean? Like, people are going to be calling for help or something. You know, the conversations are more shouting matches. So you're just like, wait, are we trying to pretend that no one would overhear this? You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to be hearing this. That's crazy. And even if they don't get all the words, just the fact that there's an all-out shouting match, people will be like, what's going on? Right? Or going to look and find out what's going on. So none of the film really makes any sense. I didn't find any humor here. I wasn't laughing. Now you can see the bits that were meant to be funny, but it's just too forced. Like, birthday drugs, birthday. I mean, who acts like that? Right? That's a scene that can work in an 80s film. But I don't think it works now. Because, yeah, grown-ass people aren't gonna be all like, ooh, we got drugs. You know, look, someone might be like, yo, man, I got some weed. Let's do some, you might be like, yo, let's do a thing. We ain't done it in a while. But there's not this weird childlike, oh, we got the drugs. Let's do drugs. I don't know what. Or maybe I just hang around with, you know what I mean? More sensible people. But man, I don't know. This, it's trying to be that real suspenseful, intriguing joint, but it just didn't hit for me anyway. Didn't hit, I kind of think it's like, I don't know, if you enjoy, I mean, we've got stuff like frack. I mean, I guess, there's things, I'm trying to think of just man, we look at so many films, right? But, there's, Fast Charlie, right? The IS yeah, ISS, you know, there's stuff like Do You See Us, right? Look, we looked at last week, you know, Dino Gator, like it, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, Getaway, you know, although Getaway had a better ending. I mean, the ending did help Getaway from being completely just terrible. But if you like those kind of films, then possibly, you might enjoy The Girl in the Pool. You know, Dark Game is another one. It's just one of them films that wants to be just so elevated, but I just don't think delivers. But I think if you like any of those, then yeah, you might enjoy this. Right? Like, was it The Girl at the Window? Is that the Netflix film that came out in 2020 or 2021? You know? Yeah, it's one of them, right? If you enjoy those, you might like it. But it just doesn't deliver the suspense, right? There's not the character depth. And the ending is just, I don't know. She talks about in her statement the ending being, oh, Tom doing the right thing. I was just like, I mean, not even really, right? The decisions made in the film are pretty dumb, and even from other people, because everyone's of an age, right, where you know what's right and what's wrong. You know what something could lead to. So it's just a bit weird. It's just a bit weird. But listen. You can find The Girl in the Pool on all your favorite VODs. So, you know, if it sounds like it's for you, then, you know, you might want to check it out. I mean, if you like Dakota's first feature, all about sex, you might want to check it out too. Right? So, yeah, The Girl in the Pool.